All right, party people, what is going on? We are here. Hollis, you're distracting me with your sweet Egyptian hand-like moves.
It's fantastic. Look at him.
Look at him go. Guys, let's get something out the way straight off the top. And I don't mean the most wanted list dropped. I mean, we're right in the middle of cold and flu season. So I don't want to see any.
Oh, man.
I don't want to see any comments. Come on. Be lenient this week. Be lenient this week. Hollis is one step away from burying himself under the covers of his bed. But he's trooping through this. And I got a little nasal congestion here. Something that my Claritin is not working as expected. I've dropped them as a sponsor. So if we could all just push past that, thank you. And it would
I'm
be
dying.
well
I'm actually
appreciated.
dying in real life. So good luck, Netrunner. I hope you guys. I will miss you. I miss you so much, and I want to thank the entire community for being so supportive of the channel. And I mean, this is it. This is my last one. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get you one that says here lies Hollis.
Actually,
he's only worth +1 universal influence. or as we like to call it, 1+1 metric influence.
Oh my god. You are dedicated to the metric system.
Where I'm from, there.
It has to be.
Where I'm from, these are metric influences.
Oh my
It's like the
God.
conversion, right? It's like a clone chip is like worth 2 American influence, but it's really 3 Canadian influence, you know?
My gosh.
Fantastic.
All right, guys. So let's
right.
just say that so we got a fun-filled show lined up for you tonight. We got some giveaways that we're gonna do sporadically through the thing. I don't have the dice to show up, but if you know the good quality stuff, everything donated by Spags, Mr. Scott. Thank you very much. We have one of these carbon fiber Blue Suns and
I dig it.
Yeah, Argus Securities. We have one of these. Right? So you'll either have a choice between that, and we have these steel backs. These are a little hard to see because they're etched in, but you can see like there's something going on there. And
there we go.
This is also double-sided.
This is not wearing any pants.
This is the Hasbiroid one. This is Stronger Together. The one that you're really going to be able to play because Glacier is back. And there's also on the back the lesser non-popular engineering the future.
Yeah, you might use that one a game or two. We'll
I heard it's good. I heard it's a good ID, and like this, it's not flawed at all.
Where do you hear that from? Who told you that? It's one of those other podcasts, Hollis, that you listen to. So easily
let's not. Can we not do that?
So easily influenced. So easily influenced, man.
I'm pretty sure it was Reddit. I'm pretty sure I heard it on Reddit.
Okay.
It's got to be Reddit.
Probably.
No, it was Board Game Geek. Sorry, I made a mistake.
Old school, BGG.
Fountain of Netrunner information.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when we go through the thing, we have 2. Like I said, you guys know what the dice look like. So I don't have those to show up. So a dice is a dice.
They're
Just
awesome.
think of it metal.
They're really cool.
They're the green ones, I believe. So once we do that, you guys can have your pick. If you want, we're gonna do 3 prizes. So not one person wins everything. Randomly, I think Corey's got like a prize countdown timer somewhere above his head there. You guys can't see it because it's off screen, but
That's right.
when that
It's
goes
a
off,
giant neon clock.
yeah, when the prize countdown timer goes, we'll do something in the chat. Hollis picks a random winner there, and you will have your pick if you want. What color dice though? The green dice, I believe. So if you want one of the IDs, first person gets his pick. Then there will be 2, and the next person gets what they want out of those 2, and then the third person will get whatever's left. Who knows?
Yeah. And I'll just give anybody the Altart Nero I just got at a game night kit a couple of days ago. Just anyone, because I'm never gonna use it. No,
Ship it north.
Chime in.
I thought we had a promo pipeline. Aren't you just supposed to send the extras up to me? Jeez.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Just
put them in.
Yeah, just accumulate them. All right, let's use some magic of editing and flip over to tonight's topic window. Get the Wayne's World Scooby-Doo thing going on. There we go. We are looking at the NAPD Most Wanted list. I don't even know if this is a typo, but is it 1.2? Is that official? Like, why can't they just make it the third iteration?
Nah, man, 1.2.
Or shouldn't it at least be 2? Like, because like we went through like that old system and now we have the levels. So now it's like a whole redone thing. So it should at least be 2.0. Right? We should be at the 2 tier. What does it take to move that needle?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the classification for that.
Let's ask Box. Someone call Box right now.
Yeah, someone's going to get him on the horn.
Call him.
So
All
I know
right.
what's going on. What's up with that? What are we going to do to get a 2.0 up in this piece?
So, so which one of you guys wants to explain, just do a quick summary of how this contraption is working these days? Oh, Corey, yes, you in the front?
Hands up.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start with first, hey, the MWL update, it's real.
Holy
it actually
shit.
happened. I know. Like, someone mark this day in history as just the date that it finally happened. All the people running around saying that was real, and everyone, all the naysayers, it's there. We got there. MWL version 1.2. So this is the big update to just some of the cards that may be problems, a little too powerful, and just some suggestions and tweaks to try to balance out the existing meta and cards in the card pool. They actually took a different spin, which we'll go into a little more detail on this one, as opposed to just the 1 influence reduction from your ID. They've kind of flipped to where it's now actually adding cost to the ID. Sorry, Professor, but yeah, but so it's an interesting change, a little tweak on that. But that matters more when we go into the new edition with the level 3 cards on the most wanted list. Do you want to go into all the details?
Yeah. Just say how it works, right? So like, we got up on the screen here a clone chip, so it's got 2.
Perfect. Clone chip.
2 dots.
Excellent card choice. So pretty much the idea and the concept, if you're unfamiliar with the most wanted list, is that it adds additional influence costs to the card. Regardless of whether it's in faction or not, you're going to pay the additional pips that are added by the wanted list. So, for example, the clone chip that Jameson has listed would be free normally for Shaper, but because it's a 1 cost on the most wanted list, even in Shaper, it will cost you 1 influence pip for every copy of clone chip you include. If you splash this card out of faction, you're going to pay the 2 influence normally, plus the additional pip. So it's 3 influence out of faction. So it's pretty hefty to take if you're not a Shaper player, at least to take multiples. So the idea behind this is that some of the really powerful in-faction cards, theoretically, work to stay in faction, or make some cards that you would see everywhere all over the place cost a little bit more so your decisions get a little tougher in deck building. And the big twist, this version, because in previous versions of the watch list, everything was 1 influence pip, effectively, in its conversion. But now we have level 1 and level 3 cards, and the level 3 cards add 3 additional influence to the cost, which is a huge investment even in faction for some of the cards, let alone if you're going to take that plus the additional influence cost to take them out of faction.
Yeah, and then this, everyone talks about breaking the game, but this literally broke the game because now their cards here, they only have room for 5 pips, but look at DDoS is now a 6 pippin card.
All the pips, man.
All the pips.
You're going to have to sit there, if you take it out of faction, get there and just like edit that little pip sticker on there. So it's going to pip all over the place.
Yeah, it should be like a legacy game. Like Terminal Directive should come with like little influence dots that we can stick on our cards.
Yeah, man. Just, it's crazy. But, seems neat. So we're ready to kind of dive in, see what big changes happen, get some thoughts, feelings.
Well, yeah, like I mean, we can start off by saying
knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah, right. Well, I dig it. I like this system a lot. I think it runs a lot cleaner than what it used to be.
Yeah, and it's got pictures. I mean
that's
that's pretty sweet, right? Granted, they weren't all right initially, but they got there.
Hey.
Hey, man, editing's tough when it's a 2-page document. I get it. It's hard. That's 2 pages. That's more than 1 page. Fact. Can't dispute it.
But Hollis, what do you got, man?
Jesus Christ. I think that the actual changes are really good for like overall good for the health of the meta. I think that we saw Glacier rotate out.
No,
I think
we're talking like the tier system. Are you going right into the whole what cards are? Or are you just talking about level 1, level 3?
I'm talking about everything as a whole.
Okay.
The entire thing. The entire thing is I think that the list is pretty much positive. I know that people are saying, XYZ cards aren't on the list. They wish they were on the list or wish XYZ changes were made. But as far as the list as a whole, it feels like they definitely have taken a really big leap and looked at, problem cards, problem decks in the meta and said, all right, this card's a little over the power curve, so we're gonna strip it down. It needs an additional 1 influence or additional 3 influence. I would like to think that it's overall better for the game. Like every single card on here, I feel like every single card on this list, I actually think should be on the list.
Yeah, and I think, and again, they did mention in the article that they're doing this first pass level 1, level 3. You could potentially see other levels pop up in future iterations of the watch list. And this might be the closest we'll get, of course, to like a ban list or a restricted list, is certain cards that just end up being like crazy and still becoming prevalent can just get costed, more and more as new versions of the list pop out. But the neat thing is a lot of the decisions and cards that they picked look like they actually paid attention or at least received feedback of what was causing problems and issues. Didn't quite get everything, but they got a lot of them.
Yep.
So level 1 is pretty your standard rigmarole, old school, most wanted list style, right? So you're looking at the classics that are there. If we're looking at the runner cards, right? Lady, Clone Ship, David, Parasite, Yogg, Wildside. Anything to say about those?
No, I think they all still should be on the list. Me personally, kind of wish Yogg would have gone up because I still hate breakers that break for free. But we'll see what happens. At least it stayed on the list, so I guess I'll take that as a win.
Yeah, I'm almost inclined to fully agree with you, but I think it's I think it's good for this pass still.
Yeah. I think what it is assuming again are just wondering how often they're looking to update this going forward because it took a long time for us to get to this point. But maybe the idea is to do like a light touch and then see, the impact it has and things can still be adjusted. And I guess this was like our thoughts when the first watch list came out. And so we'll see now with like a new person in the driver's seat how frequently we get these updates and how quick they react to changes in the meta and stuff goes forward.
What would you like to see? Like what would you like to see, and then slash what do you believe to be realistic?
I mean, I think if you do the adjustments in between competitive like intervals, like store champs to regionals, and then regionals to national/worlds, and then you analyze that, and then reset again when you go back into the next curve. Because I feel like both, at least the store champs and the regionals time period is like a good 2 to 3 month block, and like store champs for sure should receive a lot of data. Like you're having a lot of games played and a lot of decks kind of sampled and tested, and then you'll start seeing things that people will be bringing to win store champs, and they'll be popping up quite prevalently. And then when you go to regionals, like those are bigger size tournaments, so there's more games being played, and then a more competitive pool. So you'll see a number of decks rise to the top, and then just kind of look at that and see, you know, like how many different decks were there that did really well at regionals? Were there any trends that were running in there? You know, was the number of really good competitive decks only like 1 or 2, or was there actually like a decent number of decks? And look at it that way.
So before a major tournament, excuse me, as in like store champ, regional, worlds, that's when you're talking you'd like to see it.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea at least to analyze it. And even if you don't make any changes, right, I would even be fine if there's just an announcement saying like, hey, we analyzed information, we don't feel like there needs to be a change at this time. There's a few things we're looking for, we're monitoring, but currently we feel like the list is fine. And I think that type of communication would be good. At least letting them know that like they're paying attention to the data or the results that are coming back. And at that moment, they determine they don't need to change anything. Or maybe they just need to do a small change, like adjust 1 card or add 1 or 2 cards, and that's it.
Is it too aggressive to do it after a certain amount of packs, like 6 packs in a cycle? Like, say, do it at the halfway mark and do it at the end? Hollis, do you have a timeline here that you'd like to see them come out?
I think I would prefer. See, for me, it's a bit different. I think I'm not bothered if they make a change. Honestly, like it may seem annoying, but I feel like most people are making decks using like a resource like Netrunner DB, and because I feel like that's how most people are making or designing their decks, the frequency of like updates to the most wanted list don't really matter to me. Like if everyone's making their deck list via most wanted list, I don't care. Like come up with an update every month if you have to. But if we're talking like a scheduled time frame, there should be probably one at the very least at the end of every cycle. So pack 1 through 6 comes out of that cycle, and then they go, okay, let's take a look at it. All right, these cards need to be updated and changed. And even then, I feel like there should be a special consideration where, for example, if a card like Cipher comes out, where it's like the outcry is so ridiculous, and they look at it themselves and go, oh, okay, this might have been a little too far in one direction. Let's just make an errata for this card, or make a most wanted list adjustment for this card immediately, and then we'll proceed with our standard. After every cycle, we'll come up with the most wanted list update.
I think the only issue you could one of the issues you could run into with having like a cycle be the determining factor is the amount of games and data you receive from the player community. So when you do it in intervals between competitive cycles or the competitive track, you actually receive people deck building with those cards, playing those cards, and seeing the results and the impact those cards have on events. If you just do it on a release structure, you're just getting information of people buying the cards and like first plus reactions and stuff like that to it. So I think when you do it in that, you're at least getting games being played and getting feedback that way.
Let it kind of saturate and simmer a little more.
Yeah.
And I agree with that, because I think that like being someone that likes to just look at cards and build decks and stuff like that, I would probably like to see it come out a little more rigorously. So I think my thing is I would like to see it, you know, like Hollis was saying, I'd like to see it either at the start or end of cycles and things like that. But yeah, you're definitely not going to have the data to be able to back it up. But I think that it just keeps you on your toes, right? Like who cares if you make if you take a powerful card and up it a bit, because then people don't use that card, and then or you know, they have to work their way around it, and it just changes up how the game is played for those people. The competitive players are all that care about the most wanted list. The people that are playing for fun don't really care. So I mean, as long as we're getting something new and fresh around the time of major tournaments with a good buffer between the release and when people can get their testing in, I think basically that's all that counts. But I don't have any problems like a minor tweak here or there, like throughout a cycle, throughout a play thing, if we see things getting out of control, because it keeps the game fresh, right? Like it's the best thing they can do. Like, but
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
I'm very much in the camp of, even if like let's say the game is doing fine, but they wanted to just see a shift in which decks are more represented in tournaments, because maybe, you know, criminal, or we'll use that, or maybe because, you know, anarchist,
or maybe you have Worlds last year.
Right, yeah. Right. Like, I would be fine with them saying, okay, you know what, we're gonna just put XYZ cards on the most wanted list, not because they're like too strong, but because, you know what, we want to shake up the meta. We want to see new things people come up with just for this big tournament. The best minds come together and make the best deck. I think that's even then when I'm watching on the stream, or when I, you know, discussing it on Netrunner Dorks or whatever, you know, like it's a more interesting conversation than, okay, we've seen here's another Dumble Fork deck and here's another CTM deck. Like it feels like they have the ability to sort of like change the wind and direct the sails, right? Even if the meta's not broken, they can modify some things, and I think it's fine for them to use that power to say this is underrepresented. It's not played very often. The change isn't because the game is busted. The change is because we want to see, you know, the meta go through like these iterations, new decks to emerge. I think that's totally fine. I'm not against it at all. I know that's not the popular opinion, but whatever. Sorry.
Yeah.
so
what we're trying to say is, watch list, good way to shake up the meta. Cypher, bad way to shake up the meta.
So everybody's happy with the cards that are stayed on there from the original ones, right?
Correct.
Let's talk about the removes first. Corey, there was a couple runner cards that got pulled.
Yes, big notable ones is Desperado, which is fantastic for criminal, even though they're most likely just shifting that influence over the Temujin, but that's fine because that's criminal is getting to do it, so they'll be okay with it. And then a one that I'm pretty amped about is prepaid voice bet.
Mm-hmm.
Prepaid is free, folks. Get ready. so that's pretty cool, right?
Isn't that all of them?
That is all of them, actually.
Yeah, so you're like the two notable ones. I'm like, wasn't there only
hey,
two
man,
runner ones?
They mattered. All right. But so that's pretty interesting, right? Because there was definitely some feeling that Desperado being on there, you know, hampered criminal, and the idea was, you know, to get him to pick other consoles, but they still picked Desperado because it was most of the time, unless you were building a deck that really focused on one of the others, Desperado was always your better choice. So now criminal aren't getting punished with that. And I think it's fine. Because they're going to spin out Temujin.
I definitely have no qualms with it. I'm really glad to see cards being removed, like off the list, because that's another way to shake things up, right? Like let's see what this day and age prepaid does. Again, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that probably a lot of people are going to go back and look at that one, and see what shenanigans can be, recreated. We do know that was an anchor in one of the dominant decks in the day. So to have that back and wide open again, it's it could be opening the floodgates for a repeat, but
at this point that's fine, right? Because you've had 2 years of Anarch going nuts. So now you can kind of release the valve and let Shaper open up again, because I feel like Shaper's kind of been down a whole lot over the last year and a half.
Yeah.
So if this is a card that they can now take advantage of really well, that's fantastic. Let's do it. See some more green out there.
Yeah, and then I have no problem with Desperado being removed. I like that move. It gives it opens up Criminal again. Criminal was getting stale, and now you give them, like you said, you give them a little bit of influence back to be able to maybe get over that rut that they were in. Something that might create a rut in Criminal, though. Let's look at the addition. We have the contract here as the big one. Yeah, so most people said that this should have been a 3 influence card. So now it is.
Yeah.
Right,
so it's one of those, and I guess the impact this will have is now instead of you seeing 3 ofs, you're most likely going to see 2 ofs, which makes it less consistent out of faction. I feel like Criminal's still going to play with 3 of it because it's fantastic, but I guess that's it, right? It keeps the 3 of contract more nestled in the Criminal faction.
The most important thing I have to say about this whole MWL list is I really, really hate the way that it comes down so hard on the neutral mini factions.
Yeah, it's true. It does hit them pretty hard on stuff like this.
Right. I wish they almost got some kind of exemption pass or something along those lines. And I don't know. I haven't really worked it out if that would be too broken or what, or if there was some other way to balance the influence system with those guys, then how negatively it just crushes them.
It's tough life out there.
It's tough to be neutral.
They just need to play with all those in-faction cards they have.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you how well that's working out.
Yeah.
Hollis, thoughts on the contract? Putting it on the list. You happy with it at 1? Even.
Yeah. Yes. I think that to me, Tamuja was a pretty simple it was a pretty easy ad. I felt like Tamuja had sort of defined the meta for a while, right? Like every great deck, did everything they could to have 3 copies of. If you were Shaper, if you were still playing Shaper, you try to fit copies of Temujin in your deck. If you were playing Anarch, you put copies of Temujin in your deck. And it's a great economic card because of course you get to make the run, you get the credits anyway, on top of having the successful run. So when you look at it like that, it was sort of like there's not a justification to not have the card. Like the influence cost is just not high enough to where you could ever say, you know what, I'm good. I shouldn't run 3 copies of this. I think 1 influence does a good job of making you have to ask a really tough question. Like, do you spend 9 influence on a great economy card, or do you just say, maybe I run 2 of it, but it's less consistent, or maybe I just don't even have it. And I like that. I think that it's definitely being on a level 1 puts it directly in that center where you actually start asking a more tough question, and that's a good thing for a card like Temujin Contract, where you go, this is so good, it will help me out. There's no doubt it will help economically, will help me out through the game, but can I give away 6-9 influence to this single card?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty fair. I think it should be on there for sure.
Yeah.
And especially if Desperado's coming off, makes way more sense. Because if we're gonna be honest, like criminals were running 3x Desperado anyway. It didn't matter. They were gonna do it. So if criminals are gonna run 3x Desperado, like no matter what, you're already taxing them. At this point, Temujin is the card that still gives a similar tax, but you get the additional benefit of it taxes outside of the criminal faction. No one was really pulling out Desperado at 4 influence when you include like what the base 3 influence plus the 1 on the most wanted list. But Temujin now, flipping that, Temujin seems to be the card that you want to do that for sure.
Cool.
Sounds cool. Take it.
Corey, what's your clock say?
We can knock these corp cards out, and then we'll
You don't want...
we'll drop one. We'll drop one as we move into level 3.
Okay, I didn't know if we were doing all of Runner or just staying with level 1 to level 1.
No, let's do level 1.
Okay.
And then we'll do the level 3.
All right.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay, so going into the corp, Hollis, you want to break these down?
Every single one? I'm in.
No, just talk about
no.
so the originals.
So talk about the OGs.
Yeah.
Oh God! All right, so the card on the most wanted list oh my God, do I even remember the old most wanted list? The cards on the most wanted list that are there. We still have breaking news. That's already been added. Guys, you're gonna have to help me. Was Sand City Grid already on there?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Speaking of these Netrunner DB deck builders over here,
where's that virtual big? Where's the virtual big cane? Pull this guy off stage. Corey, get out there. Save this show here for a second.
All right.
Put up the that
why memorize when
technical difficulties here. Cut him. Cut his feed.
Yeah. Anyway, so we got Architect, your Mombad City Hall, your Momba Temple, your NAPD, your San. Yeah, those are your main ones.
All right, and our removes.
So the big remove is Eli,
and the little remove.
the little remove.
Yeah.
What was the little remove?
Isn't it only Eli?
Yeah, I think it was only Eli.
Yeah. That's why I'm just more making a pun off it, or not a pun. I'm just making a joke because again, you let up.
I know, sorry.
That there's multiple.
Right, you're right. I was making people guess.
I mean,
like
if you were trying to second guess, Astro did used to be on here, but it got like fully like limited 1 per deck, and so yeah,
it got balanced.
Yeah, got balanced.
Anyway,
of the force.
But yeah. So I guess first to go back to the current cards that stayed on there. Does anyone have any strong opinions on, should any of those continue to stay? Were there some that you felt should have been removed or taken off?
Yeah, for the love of God, pull Architect.
But why?
Because it doesn't need to be on there anymore.
So,
why does other people get a chance? Why are we giving Prepaid and Desperado a chance? Why is Eli getting a chance?
Because it's Eli, man. You can kill Eli. He's getting a 2.0. You got to start seeing him so he can go into his 2.0.
In this whole world of, we were so worried about all this ice destruction and blah, 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 blah. Then we have a card here that can't be trashed and destroyed. Why didn't we just pull this off the list and let people do this, and then we wouldn't have to worry about that. They'd have to at least put their mimics in and walk through this for 2 credits.
Because, man, you got your self-adapting
rigmarole, Baba Yaga. Because of Baba Yaga, this is stayed on. Oh.
So I think one of the things about my thoughts, I guess, take it or leave it on Architect. I'm okay with Architect staying there because I felt like when Architect was off, it showed up you saw it in MBN a lot, which caused a lot of problems with early face checking because this is a terrible thing against some of the MBN decks to early game face check. but also sometimes I felt like Architect, because it was the main sentry that got played all the time, it definitely predetermines some of the breaker suite you would see with a lot of runner decks, because the main card they would be concerned with being able to encounter and deal with was Architect. And that was what they were worried about. I do think since that point, though, we've seen a bigger variety and some interesting sentries, that we've seen some really nice mixes of strength. So that's good. There's some variety. I don't know. I think taking Eli off is fine. I think doing it one at a time. Architect can maybe be one you'll peel off later, but me personally, I'm still okay with it being on the list.
I just think that I think it's most wanted listed it right out of existence. You know, it's not even it's not even a go-to card anymore, and I just think it's sitting on the list is hurting it a lot more than it.
Well, I think that puts it on the level playing field with all the other World Championship cards.
I had to you pause me for a moment, but yeah, okay. Well done. Slow clap that
You're welcome.
up. Yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah. Oh, jeez, making friends in all the wrong places.
So, Hollis was left. He was out.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with. Oh.
Yeah, no, I was gonna throw it to you anyway, Hollis.
Oh, sorry. No. I'm okay with Architect staying on. I think the fact that it can't die ever, like it can't die, and it will always tax 2 for the runner, like permanently. It's a permanent tax. I think that's the bittersweet reason why it's on there. Like when you look at Eli, at least Eli can be killed, right? And not only can it be killed, but you can kill it in a way that isn't even very super aggressive. Like use spooned click. Is it spooned or no? Sorry, it's knifed.
Yeah,
it's knifed. You can go knifed. Yeah, knifed.
You shake that little kid.
Right.
You stab him.
Right. Whereas if you try to you can't fork an Architect, and it's also
nobody forks an Architect.
Don't fork an Architect
or the Jesus.
But it's also
big Lebowski quote there for you guys.
Oh my
Nice.
God!
Nice.
It's what Corey said. In NBN, it's way stronger because in NBN and fast advanced decks, it's way stronger because you feel like the timer's already kind of cut short, and so you've got to be a little aggressive. And Architect, if Architect fires while you're trying to be aggressive as the runner, it only brings the game closer to an end for the corp.
Yeah.
And I think that it's in general it's a very powerful card. And that's the reason why it's on the most wanted list. We live in the world now where there's a fair number, of ice destruction, and I think it's fine to have Eli off now, and have Architect remain. Plus, when we know Glacier's going to get a resurgence, I don't see why we don't just keep Eli there just to have in Glacier decks, and Paperclip. Paperclip breaks Eli for 3. Which means that, if you compare Paperclip to a lot of other barriers that are being chosen anyway, that's pretty darn efficient. 3 credits for Eli is pretty efficient. There's not really much better you can do than having, 2 data sucker counters or something.
Yeah.
And yeah. I mean, yeah. No, it's fine. Paperclip being, a common piece of Paperclip being a common icebreaker makes Eli not so bad. So.
We have to get standard... Or we have to stand corrected. That's seems like City Hall is a new addition.
What? Let me. Oh.
Hollis, you're supposed to be on the chat. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So thoughts on that one? I mean, I'm glad it's there. It could be worse. It could be City Grid. Woo.
It was for a split second.
Do you guys remember those couple hours when City Grid was on there? Man, I had to restructure a lot.
Yeah, it was rough. It was dark times.
Dark times.
Those decks were the
hard times, Daddy. Hard times, Daddy.
Granted, that was the fastest turnover watch list we've seen in the existence of that.
That is true.
They updated the watch list within like an hour and a half.
Oh, maybe that's how we. Yeah, that's how, so. It should really be like point what?
1.2.1.
Yeah, something like that.
Or .2. So, anyway, cool. But yeah, so is there any other thoughts, feelings, opinions on any of the previous watch listed cards? Are we all still happy with all of that?
I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with
Cool.
with what's going on there. Still, I still think that we're in a good shape with that selection. As much as you can nitpick. I mean, and the other new addition there is bioethics. As a Jinteki player that didn't play the crazy prison style, I'm sad that I'm sad that some people spoiled it for everybody. But you could really see why this card is there.
It's one of those, like, I'm not happy about it, but I understand it.
Yeah.
So I can deal with it. I'll live. I'll get through this. We'll get through this.
We can do this.
It just goes to show that, I mean, at the end of this, we'll uncover that 2 political assets are on this list. Little assets were pretty crazy.
And you guys, did you have anything to say about City Hall, like other than it just needed to be there?
No, like yeah, we know. Come on, guys, we know.
Yeah, I mean, two influence is fair.
Yeah, 1 is pretty crazy for having a tutor and play effect.
Yeah.
Cool. So, anything else anyone want to throw in an add on this? Or are we ready to move into the level 3s?
Yeah, let's level 3 it.
Oh, but wait. What time is it?
Bing, 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 bing.
Hollis, it's prize time.
All right, so here's the deal. So, guys, we have some giveaways. We mentioned them earlier. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we have the Jameson. If you wanna hype it up as I talk about them.
Yep, I certainly will. I'll Price is Right model this stuff.
Oh boy, here we go. We have the Blue Sun acrylic. Is it acrylic?
No, it's carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber. Ooh.
Yeah.
Blue Sun carbon fiber ID. Look at that. It's so shiny. So nice. Arctic security. Very nice. Blue Sun. All right. Very good.
Could be back. Could be back in high demand. You heard it.
Could be. We don't know with this meta chain. We don't know, man. Anything could happen.
It could be a Blue Sun world, right?
The other option, the other gift we have is the HB Stronger Together promo. It looks super sleek. Hello. Okay, that actually looks really clean. That's so shiny.
Well,
the Vitruvian Man right there, very good. Or the Vitruvian
Stronger Together on one side, Engineering the Future on the other.
Nice.
One you can play, one you can keep face down.
I wonder which one you'll choose. And the last one, of course, guys, is the dice. We have the sweet A&R Player Circuit. I'm so sorry. A&R Player Circuit dice, which are green this time around.
That's what we're hoping.
We're hoping
the information. They're a bright, vibrant, fantastic color.
Yeah.
I'm in. We'll take them. So, if you give me a second, I'm going to use our random chat generator. I like how the...
Okay, so and then the rules are, even if it spins random, the same person can't win everything or more than one, right? We want to share it out.
Yeah,
we want to share it out.
We want to spread the wealth.
Yeah.
Right. So if you give me a second, let me see. I got all of them. 1 second, guys.
It's a paradise. Also, first person who gets the dice
pair of dice, paradise.
So that's 2 for those who are unaware of what a pair is. Just clarifications.
Also known as a Canadian set.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Man, the suspense, you're killing me.
I'm sorry.
Note to my editor: get a drum roll in post production for this part here.
All right, I got the number. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
What? It looks like the winner is Paul Avers. Paul Avers, you did it. Paul Avers, congratulations. Good job, Paul Avers.
The dice can't be used to count credits either.
Yeah.
Paul Avers. Let me post this in the chat.
John.
Yeah.
my buddy
So,
John jumps in just
I'll
to
do
troll
the
us.
I'll do the technical jargon. Hollis is going to drop an email address into the chat. Please email your, or you can actually post what your prize selection is, so we can go ahead and take it out of the pool. But then email your address to that account, and we'll get those prizes out to you as soon as possible.
Yes.
Is he still in chat? Did
He is.
Oh,
He's
there
still,
he is.
He's still in chat.
Okay.
He is still there.
Sweet. What do you want, Paul? What you getting? What you taking?
What are we pulling out?
Paul
What?
Avers.
Huh?
What does he want to get? I don't know which one he wants. Can the guy tell me? I don't know.
Yeah, he's conflicted.
Does he need to see them again?
It's okay. You get stronger together with ETF. You don't have to choose between one or the other.
Don't split. Don't split.
There it is, guys.
Cool.
We got
Blue
it.
Sun. All right.
The Blue
is
Sun
out.
ID,
Excellent.
carbon fiber, Blue Sun, and Argus Security.
Excellent choice, Paul.
Excellent. Could be the
Nice.
2017 world's winner right here, Blue Sun.
Or
Yeah.
Argus, right?
Or
Yeah.
no,
It's
I'm,
a-
I back Blue Sun. What? I'm backing
Too
Blue
bad
Sun.
Aaron Maron exists.
Yeah.
All right. So you ready to?
Blue Sun out of the
Continue?
pool. Let's continue on. Dun, dun,
All
dun.
right.
Deeper into
So
the
now-
bowels here. Never before
Yes.
uncharted territory.
Yes. Now we reach the level 3, the new category on the watch list. So again, to reiterate, this is adding 3 universal influence to all the cards on the list.
3 metric influence, Corey. You're calling it metric influence.
3 metric influence.
Thank you.
So, cool. Who wants to go down the card list of what all made to the, who all won the distinction of being on this new category of
Where?
watch list?
Hollis, you do it because it's easy. You just have to read exactly what's on the screen. No memory needed.
All right. So read all the cards in the list.
Yes.
Okay.
Just the runner cards.
Okay.
We're gonna save all the corp cards for later.
Okay. Got it. All right. So all the cards on the runner list that are the level 3, tier 3 of the new most wanted list are Blackmail,
Shit.
DDoS,
Crap.
Faust,
Oh, man.
Rumor Mill,
Yay!
and Cipher/Cipher, depending how American you want to be today.
Very.
Yeah.
Very. Cipher.
Cipher.
No.
Cipher. Again, Blackmail, DDoS, Faust, Rumor Mill, and Cipher/Cipher. All of those cards are the level 3 runner cards for the new most wanted list.
Cool. So, initial thoughts, folks.
I'll tell you that.
So,
Okay.
sorry,
No,
I
go-
really apologize.
Yeah, go ahead.
But you may notice a trend in a lot of these cards, or what some folks would consider negative play experience cards, are cards that don't really interact that much with your opponent.
Really? Is that a
It's-
thing in Netrunner?
It's weird. It's almost like feedback was given about certain cards not being really fun to deal with, and an answer presented itself. So
It's
this is
crazy,
interesting.
right? Insane.
Yeah. Yeah. So sorry, Jameson. Go ahead. Go. I apologize.
I just wish there was a better way to handle blackmail. I've said it in the past. I don't think that blackmail by itself is a problem. I think blackmail with Valencia was a problem. I thought blackmail was really cool surprise, like to get in and attack a server, because bad publicity was so hard to give out. As soon as you started with a bad publicity, but okay, so all that aside, yada yada, that was a whole discussion. Go back and listen to that one. But
Yeah.
I mean, we can't change. I guess we can't change the game, but this is what we have to work with. Everything there needs to be on there. I mean, I don't know why they did it as a. I don't know why they did it this way, as in it's 3 influence on these cards. Like, why didn't they just say that these cards are full 5 influence?
Because DDoS goes over 5 influence if you take it out of faction.
Well, yeah, now.
Wow.
It's the fabled 6 influence card. Yeah.
Like, do you think they
But-
needed to do that though? Like, do you think they needed to add 3 on all these? Like,
I think it looks like that when they're looking to do a lot of these changes, they kind of take them in steps. And I think the idea is them doing the 3 is kind of like a gradual step, and then they can analyze and see if they need to go further with these cards. I think if you go the full 5 on some, I mean, it's almost as close as banning. Like, if you did 5 influence for blackmail, that's all your influence if you play with a playset of them. Like, that's not really awesome. Yeah, you'll notice a really interesting thing if you haven't picked up on this yet. There seems to be a theme with the majority of the color of cards that all made the level 3 list. Yeah.
those
So,
orange.
so I guess now just to kind of break down some of the impact here, right? So now blackmail's costing you 3 influence per copy you're playing. So if you want to run a playset of blackmails, you're paying 9. Odds are what you're more likely to see is you could still maybe see this. I mean, Val could still do it maybe like 2, but then go with a bunch of same old things and deja vus and have to deal more with like recurring and recycling it.
Yeah, and
But
see,
still, that's 6 influence, which is a pretty big hit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's still going to be out there because of the recursion options.
Yeah.
I-
So it's still an option, but I don't think you're likely to see it. Like this handful of decks that played with the current that would give the bad pub and then surprise the blackmail. Now that's become a very considerable influence investment to try to pull that trick. So that's pretty much like very unlikely to see that happen against you again, because that's a huge.
What are
commitment
you
of
What are you more
resources.
likely to see? Are you thinking DDoS over blackmail?
I saw DDoS a lot, because I mean blackmail at least was like one server. I did that run. I could ignore it. DDoS could set up for some pretty disgusting like full turns or just combos just
Yeah.
because they could turn off multiple servers or be able to repeatedly like keyhole a server down. There's just a lot more abusive.
Yeah, but I just mean like now, like with the cost on it, like
Oh.
like you still think DDoS is more of a value, even though like if you're gonna do this trickery.
I think so. Just because DDoS could affect anywhere,
Yeah.
and DDoS doesn't have to have the qualification of you having a bad pub in order for it to be effective. I'm super excited about Rumor Mill being on the list.
Yes.
Yeah, 5
Yes.
5 cost out of faction Rumor Mill sounds splendid.
Mm-hmm.
3 cost in faction means you're very unlikely to see the full complement played. Probably just 1 or 2, or they're going to go elsewhere and pick other currents, which I'm completely fine with.
I was just
Being
gonna
a guy
say
who-
before you started down this road is are you liking DDoS because now you can still do the DDoS exploit because it sets up for that combo.
Oh man, well, it's still 3 influence, and now out of faction. Come on, man, that's
Ooh.
6 influence. 6, Ugh, rip. It's brutal. You like
How if you can think of a better way to derez up to 3 pieces of ice, I'd like to hear it right now.
there's no better way
Yeah.
to trigger such a feat. I'm a huge fan of Faust being on this list because Faust has come up a bunch of conversation, and I don't think anyone's going to disagree with Cypher being on this list.
No.
I think that puts it probably accurately where it should have costed anyway.
But do you think that like I said, do you think that it should have just made it all the same? Like they should have all just been max influence instead of adding 3 on it?
Well, the thing about the universal, because you still have to pay for it in faction.
Yeah, but I just mean like
and changed it.
Like if it had been like 5 influence for everybody or whatever it was, right? Like, because I'm just kind of comparing, you know, like what.
I think that's a little too heavy-handed. I think again, I like my opinion on this is that this is kind of like a gradual step. You can still play with some of these cards in faction, but you're not playing with all of these cards.
Because we're looking like at blackmail and Cypher being costed less than the other 3, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Cypher should be bumped a little more.
I can see that, but Cypher is still, I mean, God, it's still costing 3 in faction. So even the fact that you could just pick an in-faction console and not pay anything, or you could take Cypher and then pay 3 per copy of the console, even playing in faction.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big impact on deck building.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably not going to... Most people only would play a one-off console if you're playing, like, I don't really need it. It's nice if it shows up, like when people would do the one-off, like, Vigil or turntables.
Yeah, I was going to say turntable is the one that came to my mind.
But most of the time when you get an idea and you have a console that's really beneficial, you want to play multiples. So now you're saying I'm going to run 2 Cyphers. I'm going to spend 6 influence, even in faction, to run 2 Cyphers. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I just like to play the other side of the fence just for get the discussion out of you guys, you know?
I appreciate your side of the fence.
We got a devil's advocate for the sake of the show. Generate combo.
Yeah.
Hollis, you got any input on this stuff? You got to, or are you just too sad that you got to go change all your decks?
I'm not that sad about it. Like I could not be happier with Rumor Mill. I mean, it effectively killed off an entire, archetype, right? Yeah. So I think that what we want is we want answers to Caprice and Marcus Batty and Ash and Jackson. Like we want answers to those cards. But Boggs has said this, and Damon has gone on record in saying this as well. I want a solution that is sort of like that's not a blunt instrument that completely just murders that option for people to play. Basically, I want to be able to run, political cooperative, and I want that to give me the edge in a Glacier deck that uses those kind of protection cards. I don't want to run this one single card and that like I just automatically the whole deck is like not viable. I'd prefer not to have that. So yeah, Rumor Mill's fine, I think, on there. And I mean every other card, Blackmail, DDoS, Faust, and Cypher, all of those cards effectively create these sort of non-interactive gameplays where they're not playing the game of Netrunner that we're used to, I would say, which is really weird to say, I guess. I don't know. They're playing Netrunner in a way that I think ultimately results in a negative play experience. Corey has already said this. You said this, Jameson. And I think that if we're gonna weigh it out, I think I would rather lose the cards that result in a negative play experience. People don't feel great for playing the game.
Yeah.
Versus, keeping it in there and having people be, alienated from playing. If I play, someone's just gonna like clone chip Parasite and Cypher combo every piece of ice I res. Like it's just not even fun anymore.
So Hollis, what's your thoughts on these cards still turning up at the weight that they're costed?
I feel like if someone is going I feel like if Valencia wants to spend 4 influence per blackmail, or 3 influence per blackmail, power to you.
Yeah.
That's not you're losing 9 influence for 3 blackmail. Mm. I feel like if any Anarch deck wants to run 2 Faust and as a result spends 6 influence, power to you. Same deal with Cypher. If you want to run Cypher in Anarch and you want to spend the 3 influence, great. And if you want to run it in any other deck and it's 4, yeah, good luck.
So has this done its job where it's pretty much put these cards in its place? Have these cards become unusable?
I don't know if I would say they're unusable, but I do think something is interesting is it makes people also consider other options. These are not automatically your go-to answers or the go-to cards. They're still strong, they're still powerful, and there's still ways you can manipulate your influence to build the decks and make it work. But, I mean, on the rumor mill discussion, right, I went to a game night, and I played Interdiction in my Shaper deck. And I played against a corp player who was so used to prepping for rumor mill that Interdiction threw his whole game off. Because he couldn't do any of the answers or cards that would get around rumor mill were so messed up. So some of these cards that like came out at a time, but rumor mill was hands down the better choice. You may start seeing some other options and other things getting played or creeping in.
Yeah,
and that's cool, right? Because new, different cards being played in a living card game is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Don't go too off the rails.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. I'll see myself out.
Some of us still want to play Netrunner here.
I would to also. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, go. You still got good points.
I would like to also add that I think that what makes like part of the balance of these tier 3 like cards is not just the fact that the tier 3, it's also the new change about the influence limit and how that can be reduced, right? Like I think that now that we know you can't go to negative influence, you're still limited by your ID's like influence maximum. I think that makes it so that like you can't just do a mono deck without other options out of faction and that's it. Like if we're gonna be, if we're gonna think about it here, Anarch has every icebreaker they need. They have the MK Ultra, they have Paperclip, they have Black Orchestra. And in that same faction, remember they have Parasite, they have Data Sucker, and also Faust and Rumor Mill and Cypher. Which I think if you were just to take a mono deck and you were just to cram those cards in, you would realize, when you look at Deja Vu and Trope and other options they have, like there's a lot of benefits that come with playing a Vow deck with negative 537 influence. But this most recent change makes it so that's actually not an option anymore. I think that's a positive. That's a net positive because the strategy you're going to choose for the Anarch deck kind of has to be focused a little bit more. You don't get to run the levy, and the overall card choices out of faction become weaker. You're stuck with, if you're going to go mono faction in a sense, right? You're stuck with just the card options, just for your faction, which means you're at the mercy of how good some cards aren't comparatively.
Yeah. Because
Trope is not a levy. Right? It doesn't get you back your Deja Vus the way Levy does in the same way. And so to me, that's what makes the tier list so strong also now is the fact that there is an influence limit regardless. Instead of just going to negatives, it's a plus sign now.
Yeah.
And that pretty much means that, that tier list is now even more significant than it had been before.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's look at the one corp card on here. I'll do the honors.
Wait.
Oh, let's not. Don't peek. Nobody look at the screen. Shit. Go ahead.
Let's give something else away.
Oh, okay.
It's prize time.
Wait, hold on.
Pew, pew.
So the Wayland ID is off the board. We have the HB ID and the dice left. Hollis is the prize man.
It's two the random number generator.
We're trying. I'm trying to get Boggs here as motivation to give stuff away, guys. Boggs. Yes, my puppets. Dance, my puppets. Dance. Praise him. No. All right, I'm gonna give it a minute, let it trickle in here. So if you could talk about all those corp cards.
Yeah, don't worry.
Just stuff. No, stuff. We got some responses. I'm gonna give it a few more seconds.
Oh, geez, you're generous, man. Here.
I am generous. It's only because people may be coming in late. I want to make sure they can get stuff. All right. I think I'm good.
All right.
All right. Let's see what we got here. All right, guys. About to generate it. Here it comes.
Hey.
I got a few more extras. And the survey says, let's go here. What's the number? All right.
This is a complicated process, I must say.
I know, man.
It's pretty complex. And here we go.
And
Heilman! Chaz Heilman! He made Chaz, you made it! Boy! Chaz!
yeah, congratulations.
Made the cuts. My friends.
All right, well, let's see what he's picking.
Yeah. So what's coming out of the pool?
And make sure you are emailing your shipping addresses to badpublicitybroadcast@gmail. Oh, he doesn't even believe itself. He's beside himself in the chat. He fell off his chair.
Gaminet. Chaz is an interesting spelling of Gaminet.
Yeah. Nice.
Everyone holding their breath, probably hoping he picks the dice.
So he's taking the HBID.
Oh, and he took the HBID.
Chaz, congrats, buddy. You got it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, buddy. It's yours. What I'm going to do, Chaz, is I'm going to say email us. All right. Chaz, that's the email. Send us an email. Just say, hey, I'm Chaz from the chat. Please please send me my stuff. I want my stuff.
Oh, man, don't say that. You know how many now Chaz from the chat emails we're going to get? It's probably a bad system. Be honest.
Chaz from the chat.
Honest.
You know
20
what I'm saying?
We were like, what?
Yeah. What's going
You
on?
said 20 emails? Like, who does that? Do you have time? Hello?
All right.
All
Are we
right.
ready to move on to the list of corp cards?
Yes, we are.
All right. So
Sensei
we're
Actors
gonna
Union.
Yeah. Damn it! You ruined it.
Took it right from you. One
All right.
NBN card made the list.
Yeah.
This is now at 5 out of faction, which probably means. Well, I don't know. So what do you guys think? To me, it probably means that it probably still has a home in NBN, but I don't think it has a home outside no more.
I think we're gonna go back to the days of DBS.
Yeah.
Being the cycle through card. But I am absolutely fine with this.
Yeah, because now showing off is back, baby. Put those agendas at the bottom of your deck because I'm showing off. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm accessing cards from the bottom. Now I'm here.
Got him. Yeah. Yeah. Also, maybe also the fact that if you left a Sensi on the table, you lost the game. So that feeling is also really terrible to have to deal with, especially if you're put in a position where you can't run the deal with the Sensi because you'll either get tagged to hell and back or other terrible things will happen to you. So you just have to watch as the game slips away from you and you're just helpless to stop it. Yep. So that's a fantastic experience.
Yeah, and I mean, for everything that you said there, that's the reason why it's worth the extra influence in NBN. Right?
They'll still pay 3 per. Right? Well, hey, you know what? I guess I'll go back to Hollis's. If you want to pay 3 influence, and then you want to invest 6 to run 2 senses or 9 to run 3, more power to you. That's what you chose to spend your influence on. At that point, I'm okay, and I know I'm not going to be seeing a lot of other tricks and out of faction cards in being out of faction cards.
You don't need to, man.
Going out of that deck.
I think it could still be a thing. I really think that that NBN players are going to try and cram this in there and work it around. You're not going to see, because of how crazy this card was and what it did for the faction itself. You're still going to see it.
There's going to be an Anarch player who sol sets every one of these, and there's going to be counting the influence just thrown away every single time.
We got influence. You want influence?
Oh,
influence is the next prize I'm giving away.
Yeah.
I want to make sure you spent 9 influence on this, and I just removed it from game.
Yeah.
Man, You're really bad at deck building. I don't know. If
So you guys have
really
anything
bad.
else to say about this one?
I mean,
It's good.
no, I think it's a good pick.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it was the only corp card that made it.
Yeah, why?
It seems like they invested a lot on the runner side,
Mm.
and corp had a light impact, but yeah.
Hollis, anything on Sensi? The Sensitive Actors Union?
I know that I'm usually long-winded, but
No,
on this one,
get it, man. It's your show.
no.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like,
Hollis.
I mean, I did make us late. Sorry. No, I mean, I just feel like this is like
But you're giving out prizes, so people will let it slide this night.
Yeah.
this is clearly like one of the best corp cards, right? Like it's just in every deck that could plop this in, it did. Because even when your opponent's playing wizard, the question was like, all right, well, I've got 3 face downs. Good luck.
Yeah.
So if you see the Jackson, do you trust the Jackson knowing that like a Sensei's going to pop up? You're gonna lose money. And like you said, one single turn can
What?
at one turn you can be like, oh, look at that, that's 2 assets and agenda. Well, I guess I'll just take this and toss it on the bottom and go pad.
You
Pad another-
glitch.
I mean, like-
you glitched there for a second. So
It was
But,
it was
like-
good. It kept me on the edge of my seat
yeah.
because it was like right in one single turn, and then I was just like, "What the fuck happens in this single turn, Hollis? What's going on? What's happening?"
I wish this happened in real life, where I was like, and the next thing I knew was they got pregnant, and then everyone's like, "What? Hello? Like, how did
Wait,
we get here from Netrunner? How did we get here?" But no, that's the thing, guys. Like, the card's just so good, right? The card's just too good, and
Yeah.
and I mean, influence wise, it's not that expensive. I am fine with it being on tier 3 list because I feel like even in NBN, if you want to influence this card in, fantastic. And then there was the IG problem, and in general the prison deck problem, right? Where those decks ran, 30 assets, 26, whatever the number is, assets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you're running
insane
that many-
number.
Yeah, so it's like you could have whole turns where you're like, good asset, good asset, good asset. Sure,
Yeah,
and
dim
that's the
assets too.
yeah, that asset, and you just play them all, man. Like, it's just very good. So, it making this tier 3 list is not surprising at all. It should be.
Yeah.
It should.
So that's it, right? That's the current iteration of the watch list.
Yeah. Now let's
Are
talk
there-
about what should have happened.
Hey, that was exactly where I was gonna go. Man,
Yeah.
he's good. He's good at flowing these episodes. Look at
Yeah,
this guy.
yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with some. I'll start with some off the cuff kind of ideas for most wanted list, and this is so out there that this is gonna be a most wanted list version 2. This is gonna roll the front digit.
Wow.
Yeah. I would like to see influence adjusted on ID cards to make some of the IDs that are long forgotten maybe give people a second look.
It's an interesting take on it. Just buff them up with give them an extra couple influence points.
Yeah, I'd like I would like to see that.
Do you think you would like to see it that way, or you would like to see the IDs with really powerful abilities tweaked down?
No, because I think if you tweak something down, it's not going to be the same as giving something that's not played a boost.
Okay.
I think people know how. Like, I guess it all. Well, I guess it depends. What are you talking about? Tweaking it down, tweaking their influence levels down.
Right. Like if you just dropped the max influence on it. We've gone into this a bunch because we did a whole episode on ID influence.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that I think I would like to see. I would rather see the ones that aren't played adjusted, because I think what makes an ID so prevalent is the ability. So unless you're saying I'm going to tune down the ability, I would like to see the influence increased on some of these other ones that don't get played.
Yeah. So what?
Or
so other than
some
IDs,
kind of change. I would also like to see influence taken off cards, so maybe they get used more. You know, instead of a most wanted list, be like a hey, we're giving stuff away for free list, right? Where
At least one of those.
yeah, I was trying to be more creative.
Nobody
than that.
cares list.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like whatever, bro. so okay. So with that, were there any cards that are out right now that you think should have made it on one of these lists?
Yeah. Yeah, there is. Yeah, go ahead. Hollis, you got your hand up. You're probably going to steal my idea, but I'll let you take it. Go ahead.
No, actually, I refuse. Go ahead, Jameson. Do your thing, fam.
Well,
boy,
I will preface this by saying putting Cipher on the list was a good thing, a great thing, a fantastic thing. But the problem that I have with that is that it smashes down the precedent of how long something has to be out to appear on a most wanted list. So that being said, to me, that opens the doors for anything that came out in Flashpoint.
Okay.
So I believe that Aaron, and I hope he was looked at, but I think that Aaron could have been at least a level 1.
Yeah. Yes. Jameson, we're on the same page. Yes.
So, sorry, we always like to have the devil's advocate guy.
Yeah. That's why there's 3. That's why there's 3.
What about the argument that keeping Aaron off the list is what helps to keep MBN in check, because he's a really hard counter to some of the not fun to play against MBN decks?
Well, how about you
Get good? Yeah, I got you.
No, because how come you don't see any of those other cards on the list? Right? Add Aaron to the list and also add these other cards.
Could be a thing, but maybe that one change means they don't have to put so much stuff on the list. Like leaving that free means they don't have to clutter up the list with other cards from the MPN faction. Yeah. Maybe that's what they're trying. Who knows?
Trying to keep it clean and simple.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. Look at how many cards that they put on there. They didn't get the card art right on all of them. It's tough.
Whoa.
Yeah. So okay. So Aaron was one of your choices.
Yes.
What was another one? Do we just want to go around the table?
Yeah. Go, I don't want to be the one to
yeah. Go ahead, Hollis. Is there a card? One card. We might get back to you. Don't worry. We'll keep going until we stop naming cards.
I think that's it.
Oh, you just wanted Aaron?
Yeah.
There's nothing else. Nothing else you can think of. Not a single one other card. Sorry, I worded that like you should say something, but that's not entirely what I meant. Like if you don't feel like there's another card on there, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, and if you say anything that affects Adam, like if you're gonna tell me find the truth should be another influence pip, I'm just gonna cut your feed right now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Do you want to throw you some inspiration?
Yeah,
please
go.
All right. So I actually have 2 others. Me personally, I'll start with Friends in High Places. Probably should have been on that list at least as a pip 1.
Yeah.
Oh. By the way, Patrick Dennis called this amazingly, but I can see that for sure. I can see Friends in High Places being on there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That card's like recursion to the next level. That card's insane. But it's also like everywhere. So I think as soon as you see a card exploding all over the place, that's a sign to be like, everyone sure is playing with this card. What's going on with that? So, yeah. Cool. So that was a big one. Looking for me. If I could throw another one out there,
is it a piece of ice? Is it a piece of ice?
It's not. It's an operation.
Okay. Operation.
It's NBN.
Is it Is it hard hitting?
No. I think hard hitting's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna make a guess. Ambient card, you think should be tier 1?
At least. I think tier 1 is fine where it needs to be. Wow.
Archangel?
Is that an operation?
I'm like,
Bum,
oh,
bum,
Yeah,
bum.
yeah.
Oh,
Operation Archangel
Whoa.
definitely needs to be on the watch list.
I need
You're
to
thinking
really
exchange
cue
of
that.
information,
I
right?
need to.
No, I'm actually okay. I think Aaron keeps exchange in check. I would pick 24/7.
Oh,
what I was
really?
saying.
I was looking at the trying to think from the other cycle, like the freshest one, not the.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, 24/7. Okay, I can see that too.
Yeah.
24/7.
Okay, I was like, what? Like, I'm like, bro, like, exchange? Hello? Like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. I can see that.
Yeah. Cool.
Hmm.
But as a whole,
no,
think
I
as a-
don't know. I can't say. I really don't know if I have a problem with that.
I know you and me played 24/7 Philotic decks.
Yeah,
So-
that's why I don't have an issue with it. I
Uh,
Yeah,
What they
I don't know. I think some of the other ones I have more of a problem with, like all-seeing eye, or yeah, exchange of information. You know, like damn that stupid agenda swap and
yeah.
right. But I don't
but I-
even think that those are too
Yeah,
crazy
but I
to
think
worry about.
Aaron helps out against exchange.
Yeah, and how does he do against all-seeing eye?
Hey man, you can't win them all.
Yeah,
Ooh,
exactly.
already.
All right.
He said you can't win them all. Okay,
Yeah.
we see.
I just don't like how all-seeing eye. You need that stupid bad publicity to save
Hey,
yourself.
but now you've got an ID that starts with it.
And
She's not really using it for anything else. She's there to keep that all-seeing eye in check.
Oh man.
Anyway,
So good.
Hollis,
yeah,
what?
so yeah.
I think out of all those, I think that Friends was a good call, and what one did I say before?
Aaron.
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 Hey, Aaron. Hey,
Yeah,
Aaron.
yeah. I think Aaron needed an extra level, and Friends. Hollis, did the chat give their?
Hey, let me. You know what? I honestly did not ask them, but if you give me a second, hold on.
Hey, you know what you can do while you're asking? We give out that last prize.
MCA informant. I see. Some people are saying 24/7. There's a good chunk here. People not liking the
Oh.
24/7.
That's good. I appreciate that, chat.
Unless that was people at the time guessing what card that you thought.
That could be it too.
Yeah.
It was a fun game.
Yeah, maybe they don't agree with you. I don't know. Oh, maybe same old thing. Good call, Vincent. That could deserve a look.
That's an interesting choice because if you think of like a lot of the problem operation or a lot of the problem events, that actually would tone down being able to recycle them.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is because I've seen some, I don't know, it's something I'm anxious to see is the impact that an ID like Scorpios has, and to see how it plays with some people playing one-offs of cards in this list to try to get around the influence pick, or how some of the recursion cards will function with having so much stuff get removed and
I got
pulled
it.
out of the-
Is paperclip an issue?
Oh, yeah.
Should that have been upped a bit? That's pretty strong, and I've seen that out of faction a good chunk of times. I've seen
Yeah.
people reach for paperclip more than I've seen them go for corroder these days, just because of how versatile that is. Pitch it later. I've seen games won because someone pitched a paperclip early, and the other guy forgot about it, that it was in there. thought he could score behind a barrier, and then boom, paperclip from the bin, get through, win.
Yeah, Clippy shows up.
Yeah.
See, you got a barrier in the
MS Clippy.
maybe I can help.
Yeah, maybe I can help, man.
So
Bing, 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 bing. Taps on the window.
yeah, I don't know. I think I'm okay with it right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
just trying to throw some out there for discussion purposes
that-
now
that's
as
a good
Hollis
one.
is
That's-
doing stuff.
That's definitely a good one for consideration.
Yeah.
But maybe, yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay.
I am waiting for the last few to jump in here for this vote
So we can get these sweet dice away.
for the yell. But I think we got them all. Give me a second here. Let me get them all.
There's nothing.
Yes.
What about global food?
So what's funny to me is that like global food I think is very good at one influence. I think at two influence though, I hate to say this, it might even become unplayable.
Yeah.
Right? I think so.
I think maybe the tax, because you want to play at least, usually people will do 2 or 3. Some decks I've seen will do a one-off if they actually have like meaningful 3 cost agendas they want to play with. I think it's already, I don't know. That's an interesting one because it can, if you keep hiking that up, then it can like limit if the corps need to play with the GFIs to stay in the game, but then it limits a lot of their out of faction tools and adaptability.
Well, it's not.
Right.
It's not. We don't have to keep hiking it up. It's not on this list.
Right, but you're already paying influence for it.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you're playing.
It just irks me, that whole defensive tactic that like I'm gonna let you steal this and then we'll exchange of information it. Now all of a sudden it's worth 3 in mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hey Hollis, we got that last prize winner. Do you got that name randomly?
I do. I put it in the RNG. The winner of the last prize, the set of the 2 A&R
use
PC
your
dice.
imaginations. Here they are.
Yeah.
Rolling up. Blah. It looks like it is Gabinet. Gabinet, you made it, buddy. You made it. You're the winrar. You did it. You successfully hacked the server, man. You're in. I do want to add also, everyone we chose on that was actually completely random. Like, it was all completely random. You guys got really lucky because I don't even have the prizes. I'm a little jelly. I might just know that there might be a problem with them getting to you because I might take them. So, good luck.
Yeah, so by default, you got the dice. Appreciate.
But hey, man, those dice are sweet. Don't feel like you got what was left over. You got a good prize.
Send the
Those
shipping
dice are-
info over. We'll get them out to you. Interesting, like going out topic here quickly. Is there any cards? I saw Vincent in chat say he thinks Levy should have been, moved to 1 per deck. Is there any cards that you guys feel like, or maybe you agree with him there? You can use that as a jump off point. Is there any cards that you feel should be like limit 1 per deck? Like Astra was in the errata style in the past.
So, see, that's a weird question because, or I guess a weird thing to give an answer to. Because here's the deal: all the decks that I think that are like some of the most successful in Netrunner, they at most run the 1 levy, right? Prepaid Kate ran only 1 levy usually.
Unless you're running some cams. Haley Cam was untouched, wasn't it?
Maybe.
You can still run that cam deck and
yeah, like
we know it does win.
Yeah, like I will. It does, but I don't know. Like I feel like the decks that are running 3x levy's 3 influence, and so like you are going all in, and you're saying like the influence I'm using like available is like only my 6 remaining, and I think that might be appropriately costed. I don't necessarily feel like Haley Cam was like OP necessarily.
I just want to wait to see the impact Scorpios has before I determine whether Levy needs to have anything touched on it. Oh, there you go. He saw that in the chat.
I saw it in the
Yeah.
chat. I switched it off. I don't want anybody to talk about how my team just lost again tonight, though. Worst start ever. Panic is setting in. Liz for Larry. There's my Jays.
But yeah, no, I think it's interesting because like also about Levy, if you made it like tier 1, you also do something very interesting in Anarch decks. Let's say an Anarch deck went all in on having like a certain card at 3 influence. You do something very weird where now they can't do like a 3. They can't do 3 influence times 4 and still have a Levy.
Mm-hmm.
They have to now be like, all right, well, I can't even have a Levy. I have to find another way to do it. But I don't think the most wanted list necessarily wants to completely kill deck archetypes. It just wants to limit them from just like running away with the game. And I think that adding more influence to Levy might be bad. Limiting 1 per deck is probably fine, but again, I feel like most of the decks in the game only run 1 anyway. I think Haley might be the only exception, right? Maybe Geist.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I know I've played versions of Geist that ran, I think, 2 of them.
Yeah.
Because you ran a backup in case one got sniped to net damage or something like that happened.
Sure, yeah, but it's also like, like it's Geist. He's going to run 2x or 3x, same old thing, right? Because that ability works with you.
Yeah.
So I don't even know.
John, you tripping? 15-1. Side note there. 2 weeks. John, you tripping?
So
not even that optimistic.
Oh, let me. I gotta tag somebody here. Also, Patrick Dennis mentioned the card Employee Strike.
Ooh.
So of course, Employee Strike is the one that says you blank the text box on the corp ID. This card was very much used to sort of like help you against the IG matchup and things like that. The CTN matchup even.
Totally forgot about it. Is that one that we think that does that need to be on there, or are you saying that needs to be a one of?
Patrick, you might want to clarify for us. I think we can probably just cover both answers in general. But Patrick, when you were talking about that card, were you saying, hey, do you think this card should be a 1x inclusion, or do you think this card should be on the most wanted list? That would probably be the best thing. And we'll let him respond. What do you think, guys? Like, do you think it should be a 1x in every deck? Do you think it should be on the most wanted list?
I don't think it was widely exploited. I think some people rolled the dice, didn't use it. I like currents, so I usually have something in my deck, but and I always alternated between that and freedom through equality, back and forth. But I liked it, but I don't think that everybody went that way.
I think my thoughts currently is I think you're seeing corps play with currents more often.
Yeah.
So the current counterplay, which is the mechanic they were trying to develop in the game, is actually starting to finally happen. So I think you're seeing some answers like Employee Strike. It's okay, cool. Maybe I can just score, or I'll drop my, usually like my 0 cost, just to clear it out and be done. So I'm okay with it not being on there. You're still paying influence to play with it right now, but that is one to keep an eye on. Mm-hmm. Like, I do feel like that's one of those that I don't think needs to be on there, but it's something to pay attention to.
Agreed. Well said. Well spoken.
Yeah.
True.
And to make
words.
sure, like Patrick did say, like, it wasn't about necessarily it being like a 1x in every deck. It was about should it be on the list at all. And I'm with you, Corey. I think that throwing in my 2 cents. I think that the card can neuter some very specific corp IDs like by itself. And it just depends on how the meta responds. I think that, we saw for a while, we saw prison decks be so prevalent that it made sense to run a card like Employee Strike just to stop yourself from dealing with it. It was like, play this card because the meta dictates it. Now, if you remember Currents, when Currents first hit, that was very much the mechanic of Netrunner, where a lot of people said, who has these available deck slots? And as certain decks got really big, they were like, okay, we'll find the decks. We'll find the deck slots.
Yeah.
This card is a necessity to really be competitive, to be relevant. So I hope that the meta is in such a way to where some of the best decks may still need Employee Strike, but it's not a mandatory include in every deck.
I still think that if it was 2, if you wanted to give it an extra influence, it would still be played. I mean, you saw Rumor Mill pulled out, but Rumor Mill was crazy, but it's not improbable to have that room for an 2 influence current in your deck.
Yeah.
Because it is a powerful card, right? Totally shutting stuff down. I mean, when I was playing PE, I definitely didn't want to see it.
No, it sucks versus PE.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were a runner and Employee Strike was added to the most wanted list as a tier 1 and costs 2 influence, could you see yourself ever using the influence to put it in your deck?
Me? Yeah. I would do it.
Okay.
I would have reservations for a current 2 influence. Granted, again, you brought up a good point with the Rumor Mill being similar cost, so you took it out of faction, but the fact that it's 2 in every faction,
Yeah.
and the fact I don't know, I don't think I would pay for it that often. I feel like 1 is okay for it.
Okay.
So, anything else, you guys?
Yeah.
Was there any other ones in the chat that came up?
I apologize, guys, if I missed any of them in the chat, but I don't see any. I don't think. It appears to be that every card that people have stated, hey, what if it was on the most wanted list, has been taken care of. Unless somebody, after hearing this, responds last minute, it appears to be it. I don't see any other includes people would like to see.
Awesome. Right. Well, hey, I'm gonna throw something in here. I really hope all of you guys take this new most wanted list, have a lot of fun deck building. Hopefully, it opens up some really cool ideas and some thoughts, or allows you to play some decks or styles you haven't been able to for a long time, and actually try to have some fun with it. Because that's been a little tough to find as of late. So let's and shout out to the people who keep throwing a like into the chat. I've been enjoying it every single time it gets posted. Sorry, Hollis.
Sorry to the people that took the over in the over-under pool and how many United Airlines jokes I was going to drop this episode. I'm surprised that I held back and didn't drop any of them. No pancakes in heaven jokes for the Charlie Murphy Prince skits. Sorry to see him. Yeah, darkness. Hopefully he's getting his pancakes in heaven. Guys, Prince is serving him pancakes once again, right? Thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. Congrats to the winners. Great turnout in chat as always. If it was your first time, I hope we see you again. Don't just come for the prizes. Stay for the people. I got nothing else. Do you guys want to? Yeah. You gonna say something, Hollis? You usually like to say something quick at the end.
You
got nothing. Eh? You're blanking.
I don't have anything. It's what I said earlier, man. I feel like this. I'm really happy we were able to give away some cool prizes. Shout out to Spags. We gave him a shout out earlier, but another one's fantastic.
Whoa.
Shout out to Spags for the great prizes, man. I'm excited to get this year's A&R PC dice. Hopefully, we get to do more of these fantastic prizes. We have a Patreon that you may all go to and decide if we're worth the time and effort and your hard-earned money to support what we do here on YouTube.
Yeah, you got one more chance left to get the security nexuses next month. So.
One more.
Yep.
One more, guys.
Let me fulfill those orders.
Yeah.
Fill it out.
And then they're going away. forever.
Yep.
We
And
seal them
then we
away.
can see-
We seal them away in a vault like those Disney movies, and we only bring them out once every
Yeah.
30 years or something just to resell.
Then we get to see what new card maybe we come up with. Maybe we do another one.
Maybe.
Yep.
Maybe we'll see what the demand is.
All right.
I love it.
All right.
Corey, you got anything?
No, that's it, man. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Good conversation. Again, thanks everyone who participated in chat. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We're out. We'll catch you next week. Who knows? Maybe something crazy like Terminal Directive will be out or something. Who knows?
Woo, we hope
All
so.
right. Woo. We're out. Bye for now.
Share, subscribe, and like it.
Share, subscribe, and liking.
Fucking Lycan, what?
Who said that?
It is Vincent J. Rubio. Lycan is still one of the worst cards in Netrunner. It is a 6/3 Code Gate Sentry. It's broken either free or with the most efficient Sentry Breaker in the game, and it costs 6 or 7 plus a click. This is bullshit. It's actually like, what is happening? I'm done. I can't even deal with it.
He's actually left. It's God. Oh my God. Let's end this out.
The best.
Yeah.
The best.
Share, subscribe, and liking. Where you been, Vince, all this time? Thanks, man. Guys, we're out.